Good morning, students. Hope you all are fine. Before starting to our today's class, I would like to thank our respected chairman, Mr. Yunis Al Rahbi, for providing such an amazing technology to get connected with our beloved students. Okay, now let us begin today's class. Today we will learn about the topic air. It is a continuation of chapter 2, air and water. Under the topic air, we have several lessons. We shall learn one by one. Okay? By end of today's class, you will be able to explain all these lessons. Let's start with the first lesson, air. The first lesson is about air. What is air? As we all know, air is a mixture of gases. Okay, the Earth's atmosphere is the blanket of gas around the Earth. Dry air is a mixture of gases. But air is not only clean and dry always. There is usually some water vapor in it. It means that it contains humidity. Okay. It may also contain pollutants. Pollutants means unwanted gases also and dust particles. All these also present in air. Since air is continually on the move, the pollutants can spread around too. That is how the air pollution affects the whole earth as air moves continuously. So when it moves, it takes the pollutants also. Okay, that is how it spread around. And what is the composition of air? Air consists of mainly 78% of nitrogen gas, okay, and 21% of oxygen. Rest percentage is a mixture of other gases like argon, carbon dioxide, ozone, hydrogen, neon, helium, methane, krypton, nitrous oxide. Okay, these are all the composition of air. So air is made up of mixture of gases as I told. So what all the gases are mixed here? Nitrogen is the most spreaded gas in the atmosphere. Okay, and oxygen is the second most. So 78% of nitrogen and 21% of oxygen is present in the atmosphere. So air is a mixture of gases. Most of them are useful to us. But first we must separate them from each other. So how can we separate the mixture of gas? This can be done by fractional distillation. So fractional distillation is used to separate oxygen and nitrogen from liquid air, not from dry air. Okay, this method works because the gases are in air have different boiling points. So the as is a mixture of gases, each have different boiling point. So this fractional distillation method works good for separating the gases. So it undergoes 5 steps. Please look into the diagram. The numbers are given. Okay, let's see what are all the steps now. In step 1, the air is pumped into the plant and filtered to remove dust particles. So in the first step, what's happening? The air is pumped. So air is a mixture of gases. Okay, that mixed gas is pumped into the stage. Step 1, why it is pumped in? First, it should be removed from impurities, that is dust particles. In step 2, next, the water vapor, carbon dioxide and pollutants are removed since these would freeze us later and block the pipe. So what is removed in the stage 2? First stage, dust particles are removed. In second step, water vapor and carbon dioxide are removed. Okay, first the air is cooled until water vapor condenses to water. Then it is passed over beds of absorbent beads to trap the carbon dioxide and any other pollutant. So in step 2, the water vapor and carbon dioxide and some pollutants are removed. Okay, so first, how the water vapor is removed? The air is cooled. When it is cooled, it condenses and becomes a water, becomes liquid. Okay, so that is how the water is removed. Then it is passed over beds of absorbent beads. That beads will absorb the carbon dioxide and other pollutants. Then it is passed through the step 3. Now the air is forced into a small space or compressed. So the air is passed into the small space. When it is passed into the small space, automatically it get compressed. So the pressure increases. That makes the air hot. It is cooled down again by recycling cold air, as it is shown in the diagram. So the air is compressed and then it is cooled. How it is cooled? By passing the cold air. In step 4, the cold compressed air is passed through a jet into a larger space. So in stage 3 or in step 3, it is very small space where it is compressed. When this compressed air is passed through the large space, what happens? It expands rapidly. That makes it very cold. So when it is compressed, it becomes hot. Then again, to make it cool, the cold water is circulated and then it is passed through a large space where the air expands. When it expands, it gets cooled very fast. Okay. Then at the stage 5, what happens? See, between step 3 and 4 are repeated several times. Why? The air gets colder each time by minus 200 degrees Celsius. It is liquid, except for neon and helium. Okay, these gases are removed. They can be separated from each other by absorption on charcoal. So this process is repeated, from which what two gases are removed? Neon and helium. Okay, and in the liquid state, but they are removed. Now in the 5th stage, the liquid air is pumped into the fractionating column. So fractionating column means it has different levels. Okay, at each level, what happens? There it is slowly warmed up. The gas boils at different boiling points. So as we know, the gases in the air have different boiling point. It starts boiling. Okay, the liquid air slowly warms up and it starts boil. And one by one, the gases boil off one by one and are collected in tank or cylinders. Nitrogen boils off first. So the boiling point of nitrogen is very low, so it boils faster and the nitrogen gas is released first. This is how the separation of gases done by fractional distillation. See the next lesson, pollutant. Everyone likes clean fresh air, but every year we pump billions of tons of harmful gases into the air. So let's see what are all the pollutants, how they are formed and what are all the side effects of these pollutants. So before that, what do you mean by pollutant? Pollutant means a substance which pollutes something, especially air, atmosphere and water. We will see such pollutants which pollutes air. The first comes is the carbon monoxide. The chemical formula for carbon monoxide is CO. It is colorless gas and it has no smell. How it is formed? It formed when the carbon compound in fossil fuel burns in a limited supply of air. So fossil fuels means petrol, diesel. When these fossil fuels burn when there is small amount of in the presence of air. Not naturally or normally it comes from car exhaust, right? Inside the car engine, as you can see in the picture. This is a common pollutant which pollutes the atmosphere. And what is the side effect? It is very poisonous gas as it reacts with the hemoglobin in blood. So hemoglobin is the one who takes the oxygen throughout the body. And what effect this common carbon monoxide does? It prevents it from carrying oxygen around the body. So we die from oxygen starvation. Starvation means what? Oxygen, insufficient of oxygen. Okay. And the second one is the sulfur dioxide. The chemical formula is SO2. The characteristic of sulfur dioxide is it's acidic gas with very sharp smell. How this sulfur dioxide is formed? It is formed when the sulfur compound in the fossil fuels burns. So when the fossil fuels burns, the sulfur present in that fossil fuels is converted into sulfur dioxide. So when they burn, how they burn? Any substance burns only in the presence of oxygen. So when the fossil fuel burns in the presence of oxygen, okay, with the sulfur compounds, the sulfur dioxide pollutant is produced. Okay, and what the harm does by this sulfur dioxide? It irritates the eyes and throat and it causes respiratory problems. So it affects our lungs. So we get insufficient oxygen and it dissolves in rain to form acid rain. So when it mixed in the atmosphere, this pollutant, and when the rain falls, the rain and this pollutant gets mixed up. So this sulfur dioxide dissolves in the rainwater and the rainwater becomes acid rain. That acid rain, when it falls on the soil, the acidity of the soil increases. When the acidity increases, what happens? The soil's fertility reduces. So the fertility of the soil becomes less. Naturally, what happens? That affects the trees. Okay, and when these acid rain falls into the rivers and lakes, what happens? That kills the fish and the other creatures in the water. So this has very negative effect. Okay, and the third one is the nitrogen oxides. So the two gases produced from nitrogen and oxygen are NO and NO2. They are also acidic in nature. How they are formed? They are formed when the nitrogen and oxygen in air react together. So when the nitrogen and oxygen both gets reacted, the product is nitrogen oxides. So inside, this is also produced from car engine, and this also has the same negative effect like sulfur dioxide. What is the negative effect? It causes respiratory problem as well as dissolves in rain to give acid rain. The last one is the lead compound. Lead compound, how they are formed? A compound called tetraethyl lead. When tetraethyl lead is added to petroleum in many countries. Okay, why it has been added? It is added because it burns smoothly. It helps to burn smoothly. So, but what is the side effect of the addition of tetraethyl lead? The lead compound particles comes out. The particles are produced. That lead compounds are very poisonous. It directly damages children's brain as well as adults' kidney and nervous system. Let's see about catalytic converters for car exhaust. From the name itself, it is understood that catalyst converts, which is installed in the car exhaust. So in modern car system, these catalytic converters are fixed. What is the use of this catalytic converter? They convert harmful gases produced by the car engine into harmless gases. What is the harmful gas produced by car engine? We saw in the previous lesson. What is that? Carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides. So these harmful gases can be converted into harmless gas. Let's see how it acts. So here the catalyst act as a converter. So what are all the catalysts used here? Platinum, palladium, rhodium. Catalyst means what? Any substance which is added to the reaction just to speed up the reaction, but the reaction will not change. Okay, here the main catalysts used are platinum, palladium and rhodium. Let's see what the reaction takes place. The catalytic converter consists of two compartments, compartment A and compartment B. In compartment A, the catalyst like rhodium, platinum are present. So first, the harmful gases enters into the compartment A. There, the catalytic converter converts into the normal gases like the harmful gas NO. What is it? NO, nitrogen oxide, is a harmful gas, is passed into the compartment A. And what gases comes out? See the reaction? 2NO. NO is the nitrogen oxide. It gives nitrogen and oxygen. So when these both are splitted, they are not harmful. So in compartment A, the nitrogen and oxygen gas are produced and they are separated. Okay. Then what happens in compartment B? In compartment B, the carbon monoxide, again we saw that pollutant carbon monoxide. When this carbon monoxide is mixed with oxygen, from where we get oxygen? We get oxygen from compartment A. When carbon monoxide is mixed with oxygen, what is the product? Carbon dioxide. So comparatively, carbon dioxide is harmless gas and that gas comes out. So this is the main purpose of catalytic converter. Again, I am repeating, catalytic converter used to convert the harmful gases produced by car engine into harmless gases. So catalyst, what are the catalysts used here? Platinum, palladium and rhodium. What is the harmful gas produced inside the car engine? Nitrogen oxides and carbon monoxide. And these harmful gas produced in the car engine is passed through the compartment A and then in the compartment B of the catalytic converter. So from B, the harmless gas comes out. This is how catalytic converter works. The next topic is rusting. Look into the picture, you will get an idea about what is rusting. Rusting is what? The corrosion of iron. Corrosion of iron means iron is eaten away by who? Oxygen and water. That is the corrosion of iron in damp air. Damp air means wet air. So when the oxygen and water falls on the iron is eaten away by them. So the corrosion of iron takes place in damp air. So rusting requires what? Oxygen and water. How can we prevent rusting? By painting the iron, by applying grease and by covering with the other metal. As we all see, our gate in the house, okay, is painted. Why? Because the gate is made up of iron. So iron gate is painted. Why? It should be prevented from what? Oxygen and water. So when the rain falls, okay, it is present in the outside of our house. So naturally, when the rain falls, it gets rusted. So to prevent that, the gates are painted. And our car bodies are coated with zinc to prevent the rusting of the car bodies. That process is called galvanizing. And the magnesium is a metal which is more reactive than iron. So when the magnesium is placed on the iron, what happens? The magnesium will corrode first, which protect the iron. So magnesium is called sacrificial protection because it sacrifices itself to protect iron. So these are all the preventive methods to protect iron from rusting. What plants need? A plant needs what? Carbon dioxide, light and water. It also needs several different elements. What are all they? Nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, all these. Plants obtain these elements from where? From soil. So what is fertilizer? A fertilizer is any substance added to the soil to make it more fertile. Animal manure is a natural fertilizer. And there are synthetic fertilizers also which are made in factories and sprinkled or sprayed on fields to make soil fertile. So fertilizer is nothing but any substance which are added to the soil to make it more fertile. So plants need nitrogen for making chlorophyll and protein. Potassium is the another fertilizer which helps to produce protein and to resist disease occurring in the plants. And phosphorus helps root to grow and crops to ripen. What do you mean by ripen? The stage from vegetable to what? Fruit stage. So fertilizers are very important for the soil. The fertilizers are very important for the plants to grow, and these synthetic fertilizers are produced in laboratory or in factories. One of such process is called Haber process. So from Haber process, the fertilizer named ammonia is produced. So what is Haber process? The process used to make ammonia is called Haber process. What is the main two reactants involved in Haber process? Nitrogen and hydrogen. From where we get nitrogen? We get nitrogen from air. As air is composed of 78% of nitrogen. And from where we get hydrogen? Hydrogen we get from natural gas. What is natural gas? Methane. What is the formula for methane? CH4. So from that we can get hydrogen. And what is the formula for ammonia? NH3. So when the nitrogen and hydrogen reacts to form ammonia by a process called Haber process. It is a fertilizer. Fertilizers are used to make soil fertile, which helps the plants to grow. Now let us see how the Haber process works and what are all the conditions needed for Haber process. Ammonia is a very important chemical because it is needed to make fertilizers. So how this ammonia is made? Ammonia is made by a process called Haber process. It undergoes many steps involved. Please look into the diagram. It is marked 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So each stages what happens? Let us discuss now. So what is the main reactants used for this process? The main reactants are nitrogen and hydrogen. Okay. Now in the first step, the reactants are nitrogen and hydrogen. The nitrogen is obtained from air, as we all know, and the hydrogen from methane gas. Okay. The two gases are mixed and scrubbed. Scrubbed means what? They are cleaned to remove impurities. So in the first step, number 1, the gases are mixed and scrubbed. Scrubbed means what? It is cleaned to remove impurities. And what happens in the second? The gas mixture is compressed. Compressed means when it is compressed, the pressure increases. That is very important stage, because the condition for this process is it should have high pressure. So in stage 2 or in step 2, the gas mixture, the mixture of hydrogen and nitrogen is compressed. More and more gas is pumped in until the pressure reaches 200 atmosphere. So how much the pressure is created there? 200 atmosphere. Then in the stage 3 or in the step 3, the compressed gas flows through the converter. It is flows into the converter. It is a round tank with beds of hot iron. So hot iron layers are present. They act as a catalyst. Catalysts are the substance which is used to speed up the reaction. At the same time, the reaction will not change. Okay, and this iron catalyzes the act as a reversible reaction. So the main condition is what? In the second stage, the compression. Because high pressure is needed. Okay, how much? What is the pressure is needed there? 200 atmosphere. Then in the fourth stage, the mixture is cooled until ammonia condenses to liquid. So there it is. Until stage 3, they are in the gaseous state. But in stage 4, they are condensed to cool the liquid ammonia. The nitrogen and hydrogen are recycled in this stage, and it is converted to another chance to react. Again, because it is a reversible reaction, I told. So again it has two opening. The fourth stage has two opening. When it is cooled, we get liquid ammonia, and rest it is again passed through the previous stage to make the process again, to repeat the process. Okay, and in step 3 and 4, continually the step 3 and 4 repeats until the whole ammonia is produced. Okay, in the stage 5, the ammonia is run into tanks and stored as a liquid under pressure. So what is the main pressure maintained here is 200 atmosphere in stage 2. I repeat, the Haber process is used to produce ammonia. Ammonia is a chemical which is used to make fertilizers. It has several steps in the sense it goes nearly 4 stages. In the first stage, the nitrogen and hydrogen are mixed and they are cleaned to remove from impurities. In the second stage, these both mixture of gas are compressed to a maximum of 200 atmosphere, the pressure of about 200 atmosphere. Then it is converted into the converter, which is in the third stage. Okay, at last in the fourth stage, the mixture is cooled until ammonia is condensed to a liquid. Okay, and that liquid ammonia is stored into a tanks under high pressure. Remaining, it is converted into again the process 3 and 4. That process 3 and 4 repeats continuously. Is that clear? The next important lesson is greenhouse gases. What are the greenhouse gases? Carbon dioxide CO2 and methane CH4. Why they are called greenhouse gases? Because they absorb heat in the atmosphere and prevent it from escaping into space. Prevent it from means stop from escaping into space. So when all the heat is absorbed in the atmosphere and if they cannot escape into the space, what happens to the atmosphere? The air becomes warmer. Obviously, earth also becomes more warmer. That leads to global warming. So now let us see how these greenhouse gases works. So first step, the sun sends the energy in the form of light and heat, okay, and UV rays also. What is UV rays? Ultraviolet rays. So the earth absorbs this energy, okay, this warms the earth, okay, and some part it will get reflected. So when it reflect back, some escapes from the atmosphere while the other get absorbed by these gases, which they are spreaded in the atmosphere. The greenhouse gases are layer of gas spreads on the atmosphere, and these gases absorbs the heat, okay, and it will not let the heat to escape. So what happens when they absorbs the heat? Naturally the air becomes warmer. When the air becomes warmer, the earth also warmed, okay. This is how the greenhouse gases works. Lesson, we saw two gases, carbon dioxide and methane, are greenhouse gases, and they absorb the heat escaping from the atmosphere. Now in this lesson, let us see how these greenhouse gases are produced. Okay, first we will see about carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxides are produced by many reactions. The first is the combustion of carbon compounds. What do you mean by combustion? Combustion means by supplying oxygen, okay. It is the carbon compounds are heated by supplying oxygen. So look into the reaction. CH4 plus O2, oxygen gives CO2. So carbon dioxide is produced from methane gas, okay, and the other product is water. And the second step, how we the carbon dioxide is produced from respiration. So when we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide, this process is called respiration. So what happens inside our body? So we breathe in oxygen, okay, and the glucose present inside our body. What is the chemical formula for glucose? C6H12O6. That is the chemical formula for glucose. And when the air and this glucose react, what is the product produced? Carbon dioxide. That gas is breathed in out. That gas is breathed out. And what is the other product? Water. So we breathe out carbon dioxide. So this is how the carbon dioxide is produced, and they are mixed in the atmosphere. What is the third way to produce, the third way how the carbon dioxide are produced? So they are produced when the acids and carbonates are reacted. See, the reaction of acid and carbonates leads to the production of carbon dioxide. Look into the reaction. The carbonate is calcium carbonate. Ca is calcium, CO3 is carbonate. When this calcium carbonate is reacted with hydrochloric acid, what is the product we get? Salt. Salt is what? Calcium chloride, CaCl3 plus CO2, carbon dioxide and water. So this is how the carbon dioxide is produced again. And the carbon dioxide is also produced by thermal decomposition. What do you mean by thermal decomposition? Thermal means by applying heat. Decomposition means breaking down the molecules. So by applying heat, the molecules break down, and the product which we get is carbon dioxide. See here, limestone. What is the formula for limestone? CaCO3. What is CaCO3? Calcium carbonate. When this calcium carbonate is processed by a process called thermal decomposition, we get calcium oxide, CaO, which is lime, plus carbon dioxide, CO2. So these are all the reactions which produces carbon dioxide. Okay, and the next one we will see how the methane gas is produced. What is the chemical formula for methane? CH4. It is a natural gas. It is formed whenever bacteria break down plant material in the absence of oxygen. For example, in paddy field, swamp and landfill sites, that is rubbish dump, that is garbage. Okay. So here what happens, how this methane is produced? These plant materials, okay, bacteria act on this and it breaks the material in the absence of oxygen. Okay, when this reaction takes place, the product formed is methane. Not only from that, from some animals like sheep, goat, camel, that is cattle, gives out methane as waste gas from digestion. So after digestion, the gas comes out from these animals. These domestic animals are what gas? Methane gas. So actually what happens inside their stomach? Bacteria in their stomach, that is good bacteria in their stomach, helps to break down the food eaten by the animals. So what food these domestic animals eat? Normally grass and other foods. Okay, when these foods are broken down by bacteria, the methane gas is produced and that waste gas comes out, that spreads in the atmosphere. This is how the methane gas is produced. So by now you will have an idea how the greenhouse gases are produced. So these carbon dioxide and methane comes and spreads over the atmosphere, that act as a blanket, so it absorbs the heat but stops to reflect back into the space. At last this leads to global warming. Global warming means what? Warming up of earth. So the temperature in the earth increases. Lesson is the carbon cycle. Some carbon is found in the earth's crust as a free element, okay, into two forms, diamond and graphite. Diamond is very hard, clear, solid. Graphite is dark, greasy, solid. So diamond and graphites are allotropes, which means it has only carbon atoms. This is a general information, okay. Now let us come to the lessons. Carbon cycle. What is carbon cycle? The carbon moves between compounds in the atmosphere, living things, the soil and the ocean in a non-stop journey and as a cycle process. Hence it is called the carbon cycle. So note here from the below diagram, carbon moves between atmosphere, ocean and living things in the form of carbon dioxide. So how can we remove this carbon dioxide? This carbon dioxide is removed from atmosphere by photosynthesis, as plants absorb photosynthesis for preparation of food and dissolving in ocean. And carbon dioxide is added to the atmosphere how? By respiration and combustion of fuel. Combustion means what? Burning of fuel in the presence of oxygen that contains carbon. So carbon dioxide is removed by photosynthesis and added by respiration and combustion. So the carbon moves between the compounds in the atmosphere, living things, soil, ocean in a non-stop journey. If one absorbs, the other one releases. When the other releases, the other one absorbs. So this is how the non-stop journey takes place. That is called carbon cycle. Thus, Chapter 2 is completed. Hope you all understood well. Worksheets and homeworks are uploaded in the module. Please kindly make use of it and complete your homework. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you, my dear students. Take care.